welcome to my channel. I'm so happy you're here today because it is finally that time of year where I need to discuss with you the top products of the year. So today we're going to be doing the drugstore category. As you guys know, on this channel, baby, we review all the new drugstore makeup. So I use a ton of new drugstore makeup throughout the year. And today we're going to talk about the top products. I just want you to know this video was very difficult for me to make, to like narrow it down to like the top. Like that, honey, that was crazy for me. But I got there. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right in, but be sure to subscribe to my channel before you leave. Subscribe. And let's go ahead and jump right in. First, we're gonna start out with my favorite primer slash moisturizer, something that I like to start my makeup with. And I think the Thirst Burst drops from e.l.f. are the actual winner. I think I've definitely talked about these the most. So I just think they have a super high-end gel-like feel to them. It doesn't get tacky, but it just wears very well under my makeup. As I've said like a million times about these, they leave your skin so glowy, so pretty. I'm really excited, by the way, to get into that foundation category because you guys, there's a new one. Well, it's not new, but I've only used it for a couple months and I'm in it. Like, I'm obsessed. Okay, so when it actually came to the foundation category, I have two, which is kind of cheating in this video because I'm trying to tell you my top one. But this one is like kind of like a Chanel dupe, guys. Okay, I said it. It reminds me of like the Chanel, I forgot what they're called, but this is the Hydro Fresh tint. This is by CoverGirl and it is fantastic. It's 70% water and it has plant-based retinol in it. Listen, it's skincare, it's makeup. I'm gonna use it in just a second, I'll show you. But also the Halo Glow skin tint. Mine's messy, but this one's by e.l.f. It wears more like a foundation. I would say it's very glowy, it's very pretty on the skin, and it blends out so liquidy, it just blends out so easy. So I really love this e.l.f. one as a foundation. Even though it says skin tint, it just wears like a foundation to me. And then for this one, which we're gonna play with today, I have the shade 40 medium, and you can just like put it on your fingers and just watch as you just continue to rub. You see the foundation or skin tint forming, and you can just kind of like melt these right in with your fingertips, or you can use a brush because they do burst very well with the brush. So you can put some on your kabuki and you can swirl it and you can see it forming a skin tint on me, but it leaves your skin looking glassy and glowy, and I think that's my favorite thing about it. This is not something that I wear like whenever I'm doing full beat, but this is more like an everyday or like a skin tint moment or just like a lighter moment in general. If you're seeing these dark circles, just know they're very real because I went to an event last night and then I woke up at 5:30 this morning, and I don't know why. Sometimes I just wake up super early for no reason. So I've been up since 5:30 for no reason, and you know, we're tired. We're just very tired today. I was like almost gonna postpone filming this because I was so tired today, but I was like, let me just not procrastinate, postpone. But I was going to because I was like, damn, I'm tired. Maybe I'll just film it tomorrow. But I got a lot on my plate tomorrow. So I was like, I feel like I'm gonna wish I didn't do that tomorrow. So here we are today, but I'm happy to be filming, always happy to be talking to you guys. I've been very excited about making this video, so I'm like, I'm gonna get in there and do it. Okay, so if I want a little extra coverage today, I'm like, do I? The skin's looking pretty good. I would go in with the skin tint and just tap on a little bit of spot coverage treatment with it. I love this one by e.l.f. e.l.f. has had a big year. I also think CoverGirl's had a big year too. I feel like their brand has just like expanded and like they've created so many sickening products lately that it's just leveled up their brand a bit. So this is that e.l.f. skin tint, and the CoverGirl is it actually wears like a skin tint. Okay, so it's a little more sheer, but I'll do a little e.l.f. just so we're using a little of both and I'm getting a little more coverage in areas that I need, which this is also an option if you have the skin tint. Next up is concealers, and to be honest, I really didn't have a specific drugstore concealer. I think that just like wowed me beyond that I just think is like the best ever. So I said, you know, what was the concealer that I wore the most this year, and let's just go from there and make it easy. So we did the Milani Conceal and Perfect. I think this concealer, it reminds me and smells like the MAC Pro Longwear, and I've been back into that lately. I've been wearing that all the time, so I'm like, dang, maybe that's what's got me back into this one. It is pretty darn full coverage, so that's why you see me adding a very small amount. I also like this flat little paddle that it comes on. It's just easy to apply, and I'm gonna use, I shouldn't be using this brush. It's a dense brush, but it's like the Patrick Ta nose contour brush, and the little angle on it, I was like, let me try it for concealer just to see, and you know what? It's a little dense, but we're just experimenting experimenting. So this shade would be more closer to my winter shade or something I would use to brighten. I have the shade 115 Light Nude. Liquid bronzers are super popular, but I think the one I used the most this year was the Physicians Formula, and that's because a lot of them were very potent by the drugstore, and that's fine. I still like that, but I typically go for something that's a little more sheer whenever it comes to liquid bronzer so it doesn't get too crazy. So I really enjoyed this one from Physicians Formula. It's so pretty, but it blends out very sheer, and it's just so easy to melt into your skin. So I just love the usability of this one, and it's not so orangey bronzy, and it just doesn't also have a ton of shimmer in it. So it's a little bit more natural than some of like the Drunk Elephant dupes out there. So this one, I will say, babes, I think I probably use this one the most. Did I talk about these sticks enough this year? You're like, Laura, enough. I think I mentioned these a ton this year. These are the CoverGirl Skin Enhancer Sticks. I tried 2 shades. This shade is my favorite. I can never remember it. Nude Flesh. Hello. It's just super neutral, and it's mauve, and it has a pink undertone to it. So I'm like, I just love that. These blend in so easy, and I think they give me all the high-end stick vibes that you see at Sephora. So I think I just fell in love with this, especially this color right here, honey. I will get it on my brush or like tap the back of my hand with it. I typically don't go straight in with the stick because I find that it can like move your foundation around. You know, we can get a little bit chunky, although these are really buttery. It's just like drawing on the face. Oh, y'all are gonna let me leave my chin like that? Wow, okay. See how it is. I'm just kidding. Y'all are like, honey, we already commented. We already commented about your busted blend. Okay. You know what? I said I was tired. Great, we're looking better. Anytime, by the way, you mess up your cream blush or cream bronzer, go back in with your foundation brush, and whatever's left on that brush, just give it a tap out, and it will just help diffuse everything a little bit more naturally. So don't panic. Okay, I've taken my time with this blend, and I've slowly built this up by tapping my brush into it, and this is the look that I love getting from these sticks. CoverGirl, you know what you're doing. I will go with this after for highlight, but let's get into powder. So the drugstore for me, I've always struggled with the love for a drugstore loose powder. You guys know that. I love the Maybelline Fit. That's kind of been it, you know? And then L'Oreal came out with the Infallible Blur Perfection. I don't like to use this all over my face. I like to use this to brighten my under eye, which I think that's its main purpose. You can use it all over your face, but it's more so for the under eye and that color correction and that brightening power. This is a great product, you know, they really did that, but I will just set my face with something else just to be transparent, but just to give us that little bright under eye, especially today whenever we're fighting the dark demons. I did not drink last night, by the way. I typically do not drink alcohol at influencer events just because it feels a little more business rather than pleasure. Although I do have both there, you know, I have fun. I get to see people I love so much and respect and get to know brands, but I don't know, you know, it's been a lot of years, and maybe I'm just tired. I don't know, but I'm like, no, feels like a pointless drink. You know what I mean? Now I'm setting my whole face with it when I said I wasn't gonna do that, but love that. Okay, we're looking really fabulous so far. I wanna go ahead and jump into brows, and we'll come back and finish our face. But the CoverGirl, this is the Clean Brow Nano Pencil in dark brown. It is teeny tiny, but I just think it makes it really easy to get precise and fill in your brows. Also, it kind of gives me high-end vibes, like the formula to it. It's just like, you can't tell the difference. I also really like their brow wax. I have my brows laminated right now, so I really don't have to wax them down. But I will say this was one of the more powerful brow waxes that I've used this year, and I'm really impressed, you know, that it's a drugstore product. I actually had 2 drugstore brow waxes that I really like this year. I also like the Maybelline Super Lock. That one I really enjoyed. I feel like this one maybe is like 10% more powerful than that one, so it just depends on what you want, but both of them have been so great. And I love this little tiny nano spoolie because I feel like it doesn't get the gel all over your face. Okay, we're just gonna apply a little gel here, and then we're gonna move on, and we're gonna go ahead and do our eyes. So I had a few palettes that I really liked this year, but I feel like it came down to the one that I used the most, but it's also a near power palette for me. It's the Makeup Revolution, the Beauty Linen, the True Icon Pressed Powders palette. Love this color story. I mean, like, what more could we want? And then these are pretty cool too. These 2 cream products, you can use like a cream eyeshadow or even an eyeliner or whatever as a base, but it's like so high end, like come on. This palette's amazing, and you don't see a lot of stuff like this besides ColourPop and Morphe. You don't see a lot of drugstore brands come out with palettes like this, so I just feel like this is like creme de la creme. I've enjoyed it so much this year. I have it in my main makeup drawer, and I can't stop using it. I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. It reads a little more brown than mauve on camera, but I think whenever I start blending it in, you'll see like the pinky undertone to this color, and I just love it as a neutral base to start any of my looks with. Next, I'm just gonna bump into a little bit of the next shade down, which is also a mauve shade, and I'm just gonna punch that right into the outer corner. Actually, you know what? Change of plans. We're gonna take it and we're gonna put it all over our eyelid just for fun, because I'm like, you know what? Let's switch it up today. Okay, and lastly, we're gonna take just the tiniest amount of the deepest brown color, and we're also just gonna layer that up just to add a little bit of funky depth to our outer corner. You can even make this look more bold by adding one of the cream bases down first if you want it to be a little more intense, or you just feel like your eyeshadow gets patchy. You could definitely do that. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this stunning, show-stopping, like crimson-y color. So pretty. I'm gonna try just tapping it on instead of rubbing it on just to see what happens, and then we're gonna build it up. I mean, we may not build it up. What if I like it? We'll see. Tap, tap. You guys, it's so pretty. I love it so much. Yeah, the tap was correct. I felt that because I didn't want it to be like sparkles and shimmer. I just wanted like a coat of it on my lid, and I just feel like it's so gorgeous. Okay, let's do the other eye. It's hard to do this eye because my nails, I need to do it with my left hand, but I'm not left-handed. Now I'm gonna go in with a little bit of that highlighter right there, and I'm just going to pop it into my outer corner, and then we're gonna put a shimmer on top just so this kind of adds like an extra base for our little sparkle. I feel like this also kind of like spotlight, opens up the eyes, makes you a little refreshed. Okay, I'm gonna use the same little pencil brush, and I'm just gonna tap into the lightest color here. And I feel like that adds just a little glitz in that inner corner right there. We can add a little bit. Look how pretty that is. Wow, we can add a little bit on the brow bone as well. For the liner, I ended up using this, but you are gonna wanna set this because it can move around, but it does dry down ultimately, but like I recommend just adding a little bit of powder like this color on top of it. So if you see, I've done the liner here. It's super subtle, which I think makes it fun. I think black liner is also super fun and bold, of course, too. But I'm just taking it on a little angled brush and just create like the thinnest wing. Ta-da! Now I'm just going in and setting just by tapping a little bit of matte eyeshadow on it. This will also in general just make your liner last longer if you do this with like black eyeliner and set it with a black eyeshadow. But I'm just gonna tap a little bit of that brown color, that dark brown on top. I'm also gonna go in with a little bit of that dark brown shade on here and just smudge like the tiniest amount, like tightest to my lower lash line, because I don't want it to be dragged down and like make it look too smoky. But I love that little bit of definition right underneath the eye. And then we're gonna do mascara. Okay, so this mascara was not just one of my top drugstore used mascara of the year, it was one of my top just in general mascaras used of the year. I'm using this one and the new Refi mascara a ton. This just makes your lashes kind of thicker. You know, it's lengthening, but it's more volumizing, and it's not quite as messy as like the Too Faced one. No shade, Alti, it's just not. So it just adds a lot of definition in my lashes. So I've really been enjoying the Bubble Colossal. This one's by Maybelline. I typically do my matte Giga Black for my lower lashes because I'm so scared of the disaster that can happen with a bigger wand, because this one's a little bigger. We did it. For my lashes, you see this little lash flickered up here on the corner of my eye. I used the Ardell 421s. These are the Naked Lashes by Ardell. They look super natural, and I actually cut this much off of the end piece of the lash. So this will be my inner corner for this eye, and I'll cut the same because I don't want it to go all the way in. It gets really uncomfortable. Lash strips aren't always great for long wear, and this is more practical for me. And I also think it looks better and a little more natural. And then I just add the Colossal Bubble Mascara to these to make them a little thicker. But that's really my trick with it. But these are the 421s by Ardell. They are the absolute best natural strip band lashes, and they're not always available at the drugstore. You guys have seen me pick these up a ton of times, but sometimes they're sold out or sometimes they don't have them. So I'm gonna link them for you because they do normally have them on Amazon. I will also link my favorite lash glue for years and years, the House of Lashes lash glue. Every makeup artist I know uses this. This is also on Amazon Amazon now. So I'm gonna link both of these. I recommend using them together if you're not interested in playing games, because you know a lash will jump in a heartbeat. So I like to get the lash on my little tweezers and pinch it and just go ahead and add a little bit. I need to order some more of this, which I will be doing this afternoon if I officially remember. I just strip it with a little bit of my House of Lashes lash glue. This is the best. And then honestly, this lash glue becomes tacky quicker than like any lash glue. So you can literally give it less than a minute and just go ahead and go in and pop these bad boys on your lashes. Going back to our face, this is the Catrice. This is new, so it's going in the video though, because I think it's so good. This is the Catrice Soft Glam Baked Blush. So I didn't have a ton of powder blushes I love from the drugstore this year. I did love this one. It reminds me so much of the Rare Beauty Soft Pinch Blush Highlighter Duos. I don't like to go in with this one. Look how pigmented that is. So much will come off. You have to tap it. But I like this one as a blush topper, and it kind of gives you like a little bit of a, almost like a soft highlight onto your blush, if that makes sense. It's a little too fierce to wear alone as a blush for me. Like, it's a little too pigmented, but if you just sprinkle it right on top of your cream blush or your powder blushes, I think it's so beautiful. It like reminds me of those high-end ticket items from Rare. And it just gives you that little bit of pinch of glow with your blush. So pretty by Catrice. I love this. This one's in the shade Peachy Breeze. Okay, so I want to go ahead and spritz my face with a setting spray. I have one that's been out for longer that I love, but first I just want to talk about the Nourishing Milk by CoverGirl. This is like a glass skin nourishing, plumping, hydrating setting spray. So I want to do that to go ahead and melt down all these powders before we lock it in. Can I just say, I love this right here. This is brand new from CoverGirl. Not even supposed to be mentioning in the video, but I love it. So hey, we're here, we're talking about it. Okay, let's do our lips. I have two lip liners that I love. They're both by e.l.f. These e.l.f. lip liners are literally a couple of dollars, and they are the creamiest lip liners your money can buy at the drugstore or online. We have Dark Cocoa, which is a little bit deeper, great for fall time. And then we have the one I've talked about a million times. I think it's called like Spill the Tea. I literally think it's a name. I'm gonna use a little bit of both. We're gonna start with Spill the Tea and just overline our lips to fill. And you can see this one's just like a soft caramel warm brown, whereas this one's a little bit deeper. I have some other lip products we're gonna be talking about from the drugstore as well. Look how rich the Dark Cocoa is. Okay, like love. My favorite lippy lipstick has been the CoverGirl Blur, but it's this specific shade, 110 Blur the Lines. You would think of, after I've talked about this shade a million times, I'd remember it, but I just grab it and use it. So many lip products, you can't remember it all. Like, hello, these remind me so much of the Velvet Mattes from Anastasia Beverly Hills. However, this is in a solid stick and those are like in a whipped tube, but like the finish is like identical, so it's crazy. I'm gonna go back in with a pinch of liner just to blend it. Okay, and then I want to talk about the Essence. These are the Super Peptides. I think this is the most affordable, effective, best lip balm, and that's saying a lot, okay? But the best lip balm at the drugstore. My favorite shade, Clear for Every Day, throw in my bag. They're so comfortable and great to nourish your lips with. So Clear for Every Day for sure. And then this is the Toffee-tastic. It's just such a light, beautiful layer of this gorgeous toffee color. These are only a couple dollars, okay? These are amazing. Like, get them all, of course. But, Toffee-tastic. Just a tiny amount. Look how they make your lips crazy. And lastly for this look, I will say, I think this was like the most incredible product the drugstore should have created a million years ago, but here we are. This is the L'Oreal Infallible 3-Second Setting Mist. I love the aerosol tube. I love that it works like a charm. I love that you don't have to spend a fortune, okay? I love it. All of these, they say, work in burst. Woo! And we're set, and I love, this is like kind of giving me fall smoky vibes. I've also done soft mauvey vibes with this palette and a matte light lid, and it just turns out so beautiful. Like, I think every single piece of makeup I have on looks like it came from Sephora right now. Like, you cannot tell a difference, and it's gonna wear so well. And once again, we prove you really don't have to break the bank to get a look like this. It's just like if you want to, you know, if you want some nice stuff and be a collector, I'm not against that either. But I love drugstore makeup. I've always been a drugstore reviewer, and I still stand by that. So yeah, I I love the way today's look turned out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I love being here. I love talking to you guys, and I love filming. However, in January, we're gonna have a couple less videos than we typically do. I try to upload at least once a week over here. If you haven't seen my other videos, baby, come join us on my channel. But in January, I'm gonna be working on some other things, so I won't be able to do it all. So I'm gonna still upload in January. You'll definitely see a lot of shorts from me. Maybe not as many long form videos, but I'll still be uploading. And then my big makeup clean out, I don't know when that's gonna go up, but it's coming. Also, I separated my drugstore makeup from everything else to give me more space, and I feel like I just couldn't find my drugstore products, so I put them in another drawer system we added to this room, so we can talk about that and kind of go through that as well. But that's it for today's video. I hope I don't have lipstick on my teeth. I'm so glam. I guess I gotta go somewhere now. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.